Hello, welcome to Health Inheritance School of Allied Health. My name is Dr. Temitope Ilori. I am the founder as well as the director of this fine institution. This video is focused on the orientation agenda, meaning frequently asked questions and explanation of who we are, what we are, and what we do. So you get a clearer picture of what you're getting yourself into and, of course, what to expect as you proceed with us. So if you do have any questions after this video, please go ahead and send us an email or WhatsApp. You can send us a message on WhatsApp, or you can send us an email, or you can talk to us via our learning platform. So I will be taking a few topics as I talk about the topics. Each of these are agendas that I would take some time to explain, and I'll try not to make this video so long. All right, so the first thing is, who are we? Health Inheritance School of Allied Health. It's one of the branches of Health Inheritance Integrated Company. We are focused on health, so everything, most things that have to do with health. So we are focused on wellness as well as education, and then healthy food and healthy drinks and all of that. So it's an integrated company, and there are different parts to it. So this is the school, the educational part of the school, and of course we are working on getting a nursing school as well as a medical school as we proceed in future, in the very near future. So we are focused on giving excellent education, but that's not the only thing. We believe in a totality of someone's improvement. So once we get involved with a student or a candidate's life, we do everything to ensure that that person leaves us better than they came in. So our programs don't only teach you academic wise, it doesn't only train you, on clinical skills, but it also broadens your mind and teaches you how to live a fulfilled life, shows you things that you never thought about, gives you more inspiration to push forward and be a better person as a whole. So our students, they leave us feeling like they can do anything in this world, and with that mindset they go ahead and they conquer. That is why we have a very, very, very high testimonial rate, a very, very high success rate amongst all of our students, because we don't just teach them, we don't just pass on information as per academics, we also reform their lives. So that's the reason why we do all of these things, to improve people and make them better than they were before. And our motto is building careers and changing lives. And that's what we've been doing from the beginning up until now. We've been building countless careers, and we have changed every life that has come in contact with us positively. So the motto is still at work, and we are so grateful to God for all the wonderful things that has happened in our institution and in the lives of our students. So it doesn't end here. I mean, it continues, and greater things to come, of course. So that's who we are, and that's what we do. We try to improve everyone that comes in contact with us. We started our programs in Nigeria in 2018. That's when we started officially, and within that time to now, we started with one program, and currently we have about 12 programs that we run on different times during the year. And we have graduated almost 1,000 students. Yes, you're like, for almost 10 years, only 1,000 students. No, we deal with very small classes, a class of 10, and the reason for that is to give one-on-one attention to all of our students. And again, that's one of the reasons why our students, they shine out both at home in Nigeria and abroad. Wherever they turn, wherever they go to, they are usually picked out like, this is different. Where did you learn your skills? Where did you study? And a lot of times they do not believe that they studied in a school in Nigeria. So that's how long we've been on, and of course we have the intentions of pushing forward and continuing this great journey, and of course blessing more lives as we move on. All right, so the next very common questions we get are, what are your accreditations? What are your memberships or affiliations? All right, so we have both institutional accreditation and program-based accreditations. Accreditations means a body, probably a government-owned body, that approves of your school to function in a certain way. And then program-based accreditation usually is a body, could be government as well, approve your program, that particular program, for people to study and gain a certification from you. So we have both for institution as well as for program. So every program has different accrediting bodies as well as different associations and different memberships. Now, associations and memberships, they are different from accreditation. Association basically means that they work with us, they recognize us, and they allow us to probably use their name, or they can have dealings with our students, our graduate student, things like that. So they can present us as someone that they know and someone that they trust. That is an association. And a membership basically is, we have a group, and in this group we do something concerning, let's say, phlebotomist. And if you're a member of this group, whatever we do covers you. So the group usually would have favors, and they would have information about maybe jobs or placements or things like that. And being a member of this group, whatever information they have, you have access to that same information. And if we as a school have access to that information, our students have access to that information. So the group would post out jobs and would accept our students for whatever position that they are posting. So that is a membership. So we have all of this, the memberships, the associations, as well as the accreditations. So this is a few of our accrediting bodies. Most of them are US based: AMT, AMCA, American Health and Safety Institute. So AMT is for phlebotomy and medical assistant. They are a council where you write certifying exams. So basically, they are government influenced, and all of their certifications are accepted in that country of choice and any other country that affiliates with them. So if you write an AMT exam as a medical assistant or as a phlebotomist and get a certification from them, so you write the exam, you pass, they give you an additional certificate which you would add to what we give you from Health Inheritance. And that certificate is as good as you studying in the US. So that's what these exam boards are like. So we have the AMT, AMCA, or I'd even add ASCP. We have that as well. All of them are US based. Now, the American Caregiver Association only covers, is a membership, association. Basically, it covers just our caregivers. And then the American Health and Safety Institute is for CPR, BLS, and bloodborne pathogen. Now, the International Associations for Private Career Colleges, now that is an institutional accreditation, which is very, very important. And it is Australian based. So this covers the school as a whole. So basically, anybody who recognizes these guys recognizes us as a member or as an accredited institution by them. And this is Canadian Phlebotomy Council that also certifies our phlebotomy students. The students are required to write exams, and then they get a certificate from these guys. And it's just as good as you studying a phlebotomy technician program in Canada itself. So with this certificate, you can actually present it to any employer in Canada, and you don't have to go back to school. You don't have to, do any other kind of adjunct program to, get there, to be able to work in Canada. So that's a good one. And then also in Canada, students are able to register with the Healthcare Directory in Alberta. Our CNA students, so this covers the CNA students alone that happen to go to Alberta. So that's for them. And this covers the counseling students, our counseling and psychotherapy students. And this association covers most of Europe, US, and Canada as well. And then we have an affiliation with the NMC UK and of course with the UAE. Now this is not all of our accrediting bodies. This is just a few that was put in the picture. But if you go to our website for all the individual programs, you would see all of their associations, all of their membership for that particular program. So you can take your time and look at that. So we also have some associating schools and hospitals, academic hospitals like teaching hospitals, that we can send our students to get maybe like an advanced training or something to help them with their job or to help them with a segment of working as what they have been trained to do. And this is simple. We have the Central Texas Phlebotomy Institute. Now they can go for an advanced training and they'll end up becoming a phlebotomy supervisor, which is of course much higher than being a phlebotomy technician. Or they could actually get like a blood banking certification where they work in a blood bank and earn like 3 times more than a regular phlebotomy technician can earn. All right, then also in the UK, we have the Geospace training where you can actually do an advanced phlebotomy training. And then we have the King's College Hospital where you can do an advanced phlebotomy training. Wow, this is all about phlebotomy. Okay, it's not been updated recently. My apologies for that. But we have other associating schools where our CNEs can actually get like an advanced training and work. And these associating schools are in Canada. Again, I should have added that to this list, but if you are interested, you can always reach out to us and we'll send you all of the information about the associating schools or associated schools in Canada. What happens with our students is that they take them in for 6 months, and for the 6 months they will be in class for 1 month, and then they will be in the hospital during their practicum for 5 months. And their practicum is usually paid, so they give them some kind of stipend to keep them going, and they usually retain them after the practicum. So it is a good win-win situation. These schools are in Nova Scotia, and there are about 3 of them, and a lot of our students went through that process, and currently they have their PR in Canada. So that is for the associated schools and of course the accrediting bodies. So we have more like other accrediting bodies, that were not mentioned. I'm sure you'll be like, but nothing in Nigeria, nothing about Nigeria was mentioned. Yes, Nigeria officially does not recognize the allied health position, so they do not have councils that governs or covers any allied health position. Now you're asking, like, what do you mean by allied health? Okay, I guess that's something that I should have explained. Allied health is a healthcare profession that is known as support workers. Now these guys, they are trained, they are medically inclined, and they have the knowledge base as well as the clinical skill based knowledge and training. And they work in a hospital facility where they assist doctors, nurses, dentists, and any other major health professions. And this assist makes the healthcare system move very swiftly and easily, because a doctor normally is overworked. They are working 18 hours and they still have hundreds of patients waiting for them. So a doctor cannot do everything. So they need someone to help with the simpler things, help with things that they don't really need the attention on, but also very vital and important. So things like, okay, do a medical examination for this patient, based like a physical exam, and then report to me what you find. Someone else can do that. The doctor doesn't necessarily have to do that. Or go draw the blood from this patient and send it to the lab. I want the result in 2 hours. A doctor does not necessarily have to do that. Or if they're working with a registered nurse and they need to check the urinary output of this patient, the registered nurse does not necessarily need to be there. The nursing assistant can actually go and document that, something like that. So they have very vital roles, and these roles are intertwined with the duties of their supervising professions. So the supervising professions are either the medical doctor, the nurses, or the dentist. So their work is usually intertwined and they tend to work together and makes things a whole lot easier. So that is what allied health is, and that's what they do. So Nigeria doesn't officially have this as a role in hospitals. They still have just doctors, nurses, and dentists. So we're a little backwards when it comes to that. But nonetheless, they understand the use of this. It's just that it has not been put into the legislation and Senate and government and all of that is not been done, and nobody is willing to push through the hardship of doing that. But I believe in a few years from now, someone would actually take that up and push it through. But for the time being, we still work with the major health providers, the councils of the major health providers, but we come in as a CPD institute. So meaning we come in to help, we help to improve the doctors, their skills, the nurses, their skills, the medical scientists, the lab scientists, their skills, and all of that. So that is how they have us as a CPD provider, but not as an accredited body that does allied health in Nigeria. So that's just the issue there. But again, we still work, and we are the only institute that actually produces or graduates allied health providers, like allied health professions or professionals. We are the only institution that does that in Nigeria. Yes, when you look around, you see a few people trying to do some caregiver training or something of that sort. But again, if you look at the concept, they do not even understand what it is, let alone provide properly, educated and trained allied health staff. On another note, a caregiver is not considered an allied health staff. That is completely different. A caregiver is a domestic staff and not a medical inclined personnel. All right, now that we understand all of our accreditations, associations, and the rest of it, let's talk about the benefits and the demand and of course the salary of our programs. I always say, when people come in and say, which one should I choose? There's so many, I don't know. We never tell you what to choose. Why? Because you have to know and decide for yourself what you are able to do as a person. Healthcare is, I would say, it's no joke. First thing, it is not easy as you may think. I mean, you see the doctors and the nurses and all the healthcare workers, they're wearing their scrubs and their Crocs, and then they have their stethoscope around their neck, and they look really, really good. You're like, I want to be like her. You think the work is easy, but it is not. That nurse that looks pretty with her nice scrubs and Crocs with her stethoscope around her neck, she probably hasn't had a 5-hour sleep in the last 2 weeks because she's been working, she's been on her feet, how all of her muscles and her joints, they ache from running from one point to the other. So it is not an easy job. It takes a lot of determination and desire to push through in this type of jobs, in the healthcare job basically. So if you do not have that desire in you, not just the desire to look fly with a stethoscope around your neck, but a desire to help people, a desire to do certain jobs and certain duties within the healthcare system, if you do not have that desire, you're not going to succeed as a healthcare worker, because any little challenge that you face, you would want to run. You would want to run away. You want to quit. You want to just call it, it's done. That's it. So if you have that will, that desire, it doesn't matter what you face. You're like, yeah, we move, we head on, we keep going, we keep pushing. And when you are like that, you have that mindset, you will do incredible things in the healthcare system, and you will save countless lives. So we don't tell you the programs to choose. We tell you, go and check for yourself. Go and check out all of the duties and the requirements and all of that. See it for yourself, and you decide which one you will be better off with. And once you have decided, you come back to us, and then we can give you more insight on that program. But that decision lies with you solely. Now, looking at the benefits, working as a healthcare worker, first thing, you can never lack jobs in any country that you go to. Whichever country you decide to go to, you are highly sought after. Now, the only drawback you may have would be, maybe work permit and the requirements for that particular country, or maybe even licensing. Now, licensing comes from the government authorities of that country, and they may have an issue with you being a foreigner wanting to gain license from a foreign government, things like that. So if you're able to resolve all of that licensing, foreigner, issues, jobs are abundant. In fact, there are people begging for you to work because they need your expertise, they need your skills. Regardless of whichever program you study, they need your skills. So that's one of the beautiful things about healthcare professions. And if you take your time and then you study, the places you would like to work and meet those requirements, getting a job in those places are like, super easy. So that's one of the benefits. And then secondly, healthcare providers are paid handsomely. Now let's exclude Nigeria from that list, because Nigeria is still not up to that level, that standard where they actually value their healthcare workers. It is so bad currently that there's one doctor to about 20,000 patients at this time, because all of our doctors have left the country to go to greener pastures. But let's leave Nigeria out of this and then let's focus on other countries. They are paid handsomely. The least amount you would gain as an allied health staff in the US is 2,000. In fact, that is the least you could ever gain is 2,000. And then the most you can gain as an allied health staff is actually up to $6,000 per month. A medical assistant can earn as much as $10,000. Yes, they can earn as much as that. Now, their pay increases based on their value, and their value increases based on their experience. So experience is gold. If you have enough experience, you become very valuable. And of course, we always have to tell our students to improve on their skills. We have taught you up to a certain level, that's good, but do not remain on that level for the next 2 years, for the next 5 years. You can't remain on that level, because every day new things are happening, new things are discovered, new techniques are being taught. So you have to pride yourself with learning new things every day. So the more skills you add to what you already have, what we already gave you, makes you more valuable. So that's the thing. So your pay goes with your value, and that goes for every other allied health professions. There are some phlebotomists that earn $2,500 a month, and there are some that earn $5,000 a month. They are both phlebotomists, but one is earning higher because that one has more skills, maybe more skills, and then more experience, because the more experience you have, they will move you up in your responsibilities as well. So that's the thing, and you can earn so much, and you can actually grow in this career. You can move from one level to another level. So it's not a situation of a dead end job when it comes to allied health. It's never a dead end job. If you get bored with doing this thing, you can always add some more skills and become that one, something like that. So that's the beautiful thing about allied health. You can always improve on your skills, and you can always move up and be better. And of course, when you get to a certain level, you're like, why can't I just become a doctor? And it will be very easy for you to translate from that point to becoming a medical doctor. All right, so that's about the salaries and the demands. Every country requires your skills, your capabilities, and the only drawback you may have would be, being in a foreign country and getting all the legal requirements to work. So if you can sort all of those things out, then you're good. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the program structure. Now, our program structure changed in 2026, this year. And the reason we changed it is to accommodate more people, because We are just located in one small corner in Lekki in Lagos, and a lot of people could not get to us. I mean, they've heard about, they've heard the testimonies, they've heard about all the good things that our students were able to, talk about, and they want to be a part of it. But they were limited by logistics, by distance, by nationalities, and all of that. So we decided to bring it to them rather than hope they would get, all of those difficulties sorted out. So right now, all of our programs are subdivided into three phases. So the first phase is the phase that you're in right now, and that is the theoretical phase. So we take the time and we give you the foundational teachings on your choice of program. We teach you everything that you need to know about that program. We teach you maybe the anatomy component, the legal component, the medical terminology, all of that. So you learn it and then you know. And this is done online. If you say, oh, I don't like online, I cannot really focus. Okay, first it's done online, and then we have live classes online as well. So you would have like an interaction with a lecturer who would, you can go back and forth with. But if you say you don't want online at all, we also have provisions for those who don't want online and those who are close to us to come into our actual physical classroom and have the same lectures given to them by a physical lecturer. So we have that in our study centers. So your teachings, the foundational component, which is your theoretical part of your program, is completed within 12 weeks. Now, after that is done, you'll be given a final exam. Of course, you have to pass it. Even if you do not pass your final exam, we still let you move on to the second segment. That's the second phase. That final exam, if you do not pass it, you will still come back and do it, but we would not hold you from getting the clinical skills that you need. So after your final exam, you would now be posted to a training center close to you. At a certain point, the area for your training center would now be open. So once you click on it, you will see your various instructors and the training centers that they handle, the addresses to the training centers that they handle. So we're going to post that up, and you would now choose which instructor you want and which training center you'd like to go to. So every instructor is designated to a particular training center. So if you want that instructor, you go with her. Or if you want that training center anyways, you still go with that instructor. So that's what's going to happen. And once everyone has made a choice, we would now send you to your training centers. And your training would take 8 to 10 weeks. Or sorry, it will take 6 to 8 weeks. So if you guys catch up quick enough, you can be done in 6 weeks. If you're not as quick as you should be, then the maximum time allocated is 8 weeks. Now, after your 8 weeks, you would come back to this learning platform and you would do a practical exam simulation or a practical simulation exam, where we would have another platform. Well, it's still in the same training platform, but you'll be given access to that, and you would see not live patients, but there will be like dummy patients. There will be like, characters, and it will be a scenario where you'll be required to do what you're supposed to do as maybe a phlebotomist or as a CNA, and you will be graded right there and then. Of course, you'd have your instructors supervising the whole simulation process, and once you pass, that's a good one. You will now move to your third phase, which is your hospital stroke practicum phase. Now, when you go to your hospital or your hospital practicum, you will be posted to a hospital that is closest to you, or you can still make your choice. All right, we try not to put the names of hospitals out there for public because of confidentiality clauses. But once you get to that stage, we will give you a list of hospitals in different regions, different cities, and you will be able to pick a hospital that you like to go to. Now, once you pick the hospital has to accept you. If they don't accept you, then you cannot go to that hospital, because it is not open for all. They have to accept you based on their room vacancy, space, and all of that. So if they accept you, fine. They would set up a time when you can start and all of that. All the details will be sent to you. But if they do not accept you, we'll let you know, okay, this hospital that you chose did not accept you because of XYZ, so you need to choose another hospital. So we keep going until you find a hospital that accepts you, a hospital that you want, and also they want you. And that is where you go and you do your practicum. Now your practicum will be done, it's not industrial training like IT, no, you're not going there to be taught how to do what you need to do. You've already been trained and taught what to do. So you are going there for experience. That's what you're going to get, work experience. So you'll be incorporated into their staff list. Like CNAs, you work on shifts, you have your own shift, just like every other CNA and every other registered nurse in that facility. They will put you in shift and you would start working just like a staff there. So once you have completed your 200 hours, then the hospital would write a letter of completion for you and exit you. In other words, let you go because you have done everything that was required of you to do. Now, once you've done that, you're done with the program. A lot of times, these hospitals, what's the word again? Their intention is to keep you. So if they like you as a person, as a worker, they will reach out to you, while you're there and ask you to fill forms for employment and probably go through interviews and all of that. So when they retain you in a hospital, that's a good thing. The next thing, they would want you to get your certificate. So that brings us down to certificate. Now that our programs are a little different, your certificate can be issued to you within 1 month of your hospital completion. Now, this issue will be sent to you via email. So we can send it to you via email. You get a soft copy of your certificate. Now, if you want a hard copy, you have to request for that, and you have to pay the courier fee for receiving your hard copy certification. Now, all of these things would be communicated to you over time. As you get to the various stages, more information will be passed on to you. So even though it sounds like a whole lot right now, don't worry. When you get to that stage, all of that information will be communicated, and then you would have a clear picture of what to do and when to do, the next thing and the next move. So that's it. Once you get your certificate from us, your program with us is complete. And you can also take advantage of our job placement assistance. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to give you a job. No, we don't give jobs, but we can assist you in the process of getting a job. Now, when it comes to that point, what we do is that we reach out to all of the partnering hospitals that we work with. And a lot of times they already send us vacancies. Like if they have a vacancy for a CNA, they need someone to step in, they would send us their requirements, the kind of person that they are looking for. And once we have that, we will pass it on to those that we know are still looking for jobs. And of course, we'll let you know what the requirements are. Then you can go ahead and you go for your interview. So when it comes to that stage, of course, we have rules, things that you're supposed to do. We can prep you for the interview if you want to. Now, this job placement assistance costs you nothing additional. It comes with your program. So we help, but remember, we don't give you jobs. Now, if you want us to give you a job in a foreign country, now that is known as our job tourism package. Our job tourism package, you will pay a fee. And once that fee is paid, what it covers is us getting a job for you, getting all of your requirements, getting your employment letters, and all the legal modalities when it comes to you getting a job in a foreign country. So we would handle all of that. And once that is done, we would pass all of that information and all the documentations to you, and you can use that to secure your work permit and your visa. If you want us to help you, we don't help directly, but we have trusted travel agencies that can do the work. So we can link you up with those trusted travel agencies. Now, what they do, they collect their own fee, and then they will profile you, and then help you with your visa application and all of that. So once your visa is out, we can also help you in getting settled in. So what we do, we ensure that, of course, we know the hospital that we're sending you to, and we'll try to see if they can provide accommodations and all of those things for you. But if that's not the case and you have to secure accommodations for yourself, we can also help you with that process. We can give you information, vital information that you can apply, that you can use to gain accommodation. But if you want us to secure accommodation for you, or perhaps your ticket as well, that comes at an additional cost. All right. So that's what we do for the job tourism. It comes at a cost, but again, it is not guaranteed. So we don't tell you, oh, once you make this payment, by all means, you're going to get everything that you want. No. This works with time, availability, and of course, your country of choice. Now, when the time duration given expires and we haven't secured the kind of job that you desire, we give you back a refund. All right, but the refund, of course, is not going to be 100%. We're going to give you back about 75% refund, because we must have taken some time to do a lot of work. And if we did not get what you wanted, we didn't get the result, there must be a reason why, and of course that would have been tackled. But if you pull out for whatever reason, you tell us you don't want to do it anymore, we should stop, a refund can be made, but it's going to be based on our own discretion. So we can end up giving you 20% refund back. We can end up giving you 50% refund, depending on the situation, but it's going to be based on our own discretion. So that's what it is when it comes to job tourism and job assistance, job placement assistance. All right, so I think that's about it. I also did not mention that before you start your practicum, in any hospital, whether in Nigeria or outside of the country, there are certain vaccinations that you must have. And that vaccination is the hepatitis B vaccination. It is mandatory for you to have that vaccination done. If you have any other vaccination listed here, it's fine, but we do not look out for those vaccinations. We assume that you were vaccinated, because in most countries, kids are vaccinated within the time of birth to 3 years old. They have most of the vaccination. But if you tell us that you have not been vaccinated at all, it's going to be a problem. Why? Because when you go to the hospital is like a war zone. There are so many pathogens, free flowing in the air and everywhere, and you not being protected, you can easily be infected, and that won't be good for you. So we have to get you protected. So all of these vaccinations, you will most definitely have to take them before you step into a hospital as a worker. All right. So that is it when it comes to vaccination. Also, we'll need a police character certificate or a criminal record from your country to ensure that you're not a wanted criminal, or you've not been arrested for anything, because we cannot send a criminal to a hospital where they could actually create a lot of problems. So that has to be sent, and it has to be very recent. So it must be within the 3 months of you submitting it. All right, so that's about it, and we've covered most of these topics. So if you have any questions, please send us an email. We'll be very, very happy to respond. Dr. Ilori, I would be handling some of your classes, and then some of the notes will be some of your lecture videos. The pre-recorded lecture videos are made by me, so you will probably hear my voice a few other times as we proceed. But of course, there are emails out there, so you can take your time and send us emails if you have any questions or concerns. All right. So again, thank you for choosing Health Inheritance, and I can promise you, well, maybe the word is not promise, but I can guarantee you that your life would be improved positively even as you begin this journey with us. So thank you, and God bless. Bye.